Because this is your first paper, first essay of the quarter, I thought I would make a video to help you understand the process and what it is that I'm looking for. I understand also that we're just getting started, so I'm going to be asking you to do things in this essay that we haven't even covered yet, and next week we're going to cover some of those. So some of your confusion, some of your anxiety might dissipate by next week, because remember, you have 2 weeks to get these essays not done, but you have 2 chances to turn them in. So again, that's a big reason I wanted to make this video. So with essay number 1, the purpose is to just kind of get your writing skills going and try to remember, what you've done in the past. So we're just trying to get started. And so you're going to be writing about yourself. It's going to be a narrative essay, just trying to get you comfortable with writing, especially in an academic setting. So the number one thing you want to remember about this paper is that you need to have the response sheet that is at the end. Here it is. So it's the grading rubric. It's the response sheet, same thing. At the end of the paper, you have to attach that to your paper when you turn it in. I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you exactly what I mean by that at the end. Okay, so you have to make sure that you have that sheet attached to your paper. Otherwise, I'm not going to give you points for it on the first turn-in, and I'm not going to give you feedback. And that feedback is extremely important because it will help you revise for the second turn-in. And when we get to the assessment portion of this prompt, I'll explain why that's so important. Okay, but the response sheet isn't required for the second turn-in. So the first time you turn your paper in, it's got to have that response sheet with it. So as I've said, you need to make sure you have MLA formatting. I've provided a video on how to do that. So make sure all of your essays this quarter have that formatting and that you follow the specifics that I outline there. It's really not hard. It's just a bit detail oriented. So you have to make sure that you get all those little itty bitty standards done. Okay, so for this paper, all I want you to do is to write a 2-page minimum. That is a minimum. That's very much a standard. If you don't write 2 full pages, which means you probably want to get on the 3rd page just to be safe. If you don't write a 2-page paper, it's probably not even going to pass. Okay, so you want to make sure that you get a passing grade. You want to make sure that your paper's long enough. Okay, so it's got to be 2 pages. That may seem like a lot, but really it's not. It's barely enough to get started. Hopefully in time you'll come to see that. So it's got to be 2 pages long minimum, and that is going to be based on proper spacing. If you've got your spacing way too big and it's 2 pages, it's still not going to pass because I'm going to grade it according to the MLA specifications I've given you. So make sure that your spacing is correct. Some people get into trouble with that. Okay, so what you're going to be writing about is an important decision you've made in life. In discussion board number 1, you're going to be reading My Roving Barcalounger. That's exactly what it is. It's a descriptive narrative essay that talks about a woman's diving into the world of minivans. I can kind of relate because I've purchased one lately. So she takes it's a funny take on a decision she's made. So yours can be funny, it can be something serious, it can be something scary that you had to do and you overcame it. It can be any decision you like. So if you're married, how did you decide to marry the person you're married to? If you have children, how did you decide to have kids? How did you decide a name for your children? I mean, really anything that will give you enough material to write this essay and make it long enough and give you enough support and details, but also something that you're interested in. So reflect for a little bit, maybe joining the military or taking a certain job or moving to a new city. There are so many decisions you make in your life every single day. So pick one to write about. Make sure it's a good one, something that you have something to say, something that's, passionate for you, because that does affect how you write. And given the freedom, you can pick anything that you've decided to do in life. Even if it's something as silly as buying a minivan. I don't mind. Funny, humor is great in writing. Okay, so enough about that. Make sure you add enough details. Make sure you pre-write in some way. I'm assuming all of you have had at least some experience in writing classes, whether it be high school or other colleges, whatever it is. I'm sure you've covered pre-writing. So if you want to outline or do mapping of some type, when I pre-write, I just do a very simple outline. I just kind of get my ideas in order, in the order I want to put them, what my thesis statement is, some ideas for introducing and concluding. It's pretty informal, so I don't care what you do, but do something. Do some sort of written plan before you just begin typing. Don't just sit down and type. It's not the best way to get started. Make sure you find one main idea that unifies everything that you want to talk about. That's probably where your thesis statement is going to come from. Hopefully you've learned about thesis statements previously, because that's what needs to drive the focus of your essay. Okay, and then of course you want to actually formulate that thesis statement based on the idea, and then give supporting details and develop it throughout the rest of your essay. Make sure you have a proper introduction and a proper conclusion. And make sure you spend some time editing as well. You want to make sure that your writing is clear and specific and grammatically correct and free of spelling errors. So spend some time with it before you turn it in the first time. When I say that you're turning it in the first time, I am not expecting a first draft. I'm expecting a final draft. And then when you revise, I'm expecting a second final draft. Please don't send me just a bunch of writing on a page. I want a final draft for the first turn in. If you give me something that's underdeveloped and too short, I can't help you. You can turn it in, but it's not going to help you to revise it for the second time, where you'll earn a much more important grade. Okay, so make sure you really spend some time drafting, pre-writing, and editing and revising. Your audience for this assignment is someone who doesn't know you. They don't know this experience you're writing about, so you have to be very clear and specific in what you're describing. If they don't know you and don't know the experience and you leave something out, you're letting them down. You're going to confuse them and lose them, and you don't want to do that. So make sure you're very clear in what you're saying, and that what you're saying makes sense. And if you don't know if it's making sense, have somebody else read it who doesn't know you, or at least that experience that you're talking about, because they'll tell you if they're lost and confused. Okay, so here comes the part I want to make sure is very clear. The assessment. You are going to be turning this paper in again twice. The first time, the first turn in, you're simply going to receive 20 participation points by turning it in on time. I'm not going to give you a traditional grade A, B, C, or D. This is for you to submit a final draft, but to do so with a little less pressure. Just, do the best, the absolute best you can that first time, knowing that you're just going to get some participation points for it if you get it in on time. And then I'll make comments and give you some feedback as to where you can revise. So again, please don't give me a first or second draft. I want a good, complete, final draft that I can comment on. Otherwise, it's not going to be much help for you. And again, this first turn in is when you need this response sheet down here. And again, I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so first turn in, 20 participation points. You have to have the response sheet with it. Make sure it's on time or you get a 0, because I don't accept late work. Okay, for the second time you turn in this paper, it should be significantly revised and improved based on the comments I've given you, and don't expect those comments to be exhaustive. I can't comment on everything you need to improve, but I will do my best to give you as much help as I can. And it's during the second turn in that you will receive a traditional grade. I believe, let me think real quick. I'll make it out of probably 50 points. I didn't have that, so let me add that real quick. Okay, so your paper will be worth 50 points, and you will be graded based on all of the information in this prompt and in the sheet. Now remember, you don't need this response sheet for the second turn in. I will simply give you some comments when I grade it. Okay, so the first turn in, participation points, you have to have the response sheet. Second turn ins when you'll receive a traditional grade based on 50 points, and you'll be graded according to how well you meet all the requirements listed here and mentioned in this video, but you don't need the response sheet. All right, really quickly, let me show you what I'm expecting with the response sheet. Okay, highlight it, just like this. All you have to do is copy it, get a new document, change the spacing or else it's going to look funny, and then paste it. That's all you have to do. You can take this out if you want to. Okay, and then if you go here and then insert a page break, this is where you can start your paper in MLA format, just like I showed you in the previous video. I'm not going to go through all that again, but it needs to be on the first page, and that's how you do it. You just cut and paste it, do a page break, and then start your paper right here. So technically your paper will start on the second page. I don't care if it affects your page numbers, because technically this will be page 1. I don't care. All I care about is that you've got page numbers and that they are formatted properly. Okay, so that's all you need to do. If you have any questions about this essay, don't hesitate to ask. Let's just get started. Let's get started off on the right foot, and yeah, try to have fun with it.